Hello and welcome to this episode of Raman Rewinds. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about a cricketer who was unique in whatever he did, be it keeping or batting, but he was highly effective. His career was long by any stretch of imagination. Imagine playing 88 test matches in an era where the test matches were not played that frequently, and also to belong to the one day side as an integral part of it was something in those days. As I'm talking about Syed Kirmani, the fantastic wicketkeeper batter from Karnataka. Talking about Kirmani, what was special about him? It was his unique style, his unique technique, and also his fighting spirit. As far as keeping went, he had his own methods, but his level of efficacy can never ever be questioned at all. He was consistent, which was phenomenal for a wicketkeeper. Very rarely, I remember seeing Kirmani miss, but even if you had to miss on a few occasions in a career that spanned so long, it is pardonable and is only expected for any wicketkeeper to have a glitch here and there. As far as batting is concerned, he had his own technique, but he has played some outstanding knocks. They've all been significant to the fortunes of the team, but unfortunately, at times, his batting contributions have always been overshadowed by something or the other. For example, he was involved in a huge partnership, given the context of the game. He was involved with Kapil Dev, wherein the partnership between the both of them was about 126 runs when India were 8 down for nothing against Zimbabwe in that epic game. And then he made a half century when India were chasing a huge target of 492. That India fell short by 45 runs is another matter altogether. But as long as Kirmani was there out in the middle, the entire Indian team, and for those who are listening to that game on the radio, the hopes were still kept alive. I'm referring to the final test match in Australia in the 1977-78 series. And then, of course, Kirmani also had the distinction of scoring 100, having been sent in as a night watchman. He's contributed well enough with the bat as well, but Kirmani is remembered primarily for his consistency and for being extremely good behind the stumps. He also had that uncanny timing when it came to whipping the bails off to ensure that the batter was stumped. We all have appreciated Dhoni over the years in whipping the bails off at the right moment, and Kirmani had that inherent ability of timing it right when he whipped the bails off. Of course, Kirmani was quite a character off the field as well. He liked to experiment and he liked to sort of evolve all the time. He tried his hand in movies, and the reviews those days said that Kirmani did a good job as an actor as well. And he always had that unique style of dressing too. He would favor a lot of printed shirts, like we see Dinesh Karthik do these days. And of course, he always was one who liked to have a laugh, in as much as he was very serious, very committed when it came to cricket. As a cricketer, he would obviously devote a lot of time to ensure that he kept his fitness going, and his routines were something which could not be broken at all. He was very steadfast in whatever it is he did because he realized he had to keep his fitness going. He had to ensure that he never gave the selectors even an iota of chance to drop him. Of course, once he lost his place in the mid 80s, he tried his best to make a comeback. His best chance was perhaps on the 91-92 tour of Australia, when India went on to play a test series as well as the World Cup too. And Kirmani, despite his best efforts, could not make the cut. It was rather unfortunate that the selectors made him play the Irani game and then did not consider him for the tour. As for somebody who's done a lot for Indian cricket, they could have either gone on to straight away pick him on the side, or told him quietly that he was not going to make the cut because they were looking to go forward. But that is how the cookie crumbles as far as sport is concerned, and obviously the selectors also cannot reveal their hands much before then they had to. Didn't matter to Kirmani, he kept on playing in first class cricket, and he, I think, played almost about 25 seasons of first class cricket. That's something phenomenal for a wicketkeeper batter, because not only does he have to keep his fitness going, the fist to play after the selectors made it very clear that they were not going to pick him is something outstanding, because generally the main motivation for a cricketer is to try and make a come back into the Indian side. And if those chances are almost zilch, then the cricketer might as well try and pack it in, because those days people did not really make money playing just first class cricket. But such was Kirmani's passion for the game. He went on to play for Railways, and then he played a few seasons for Railways, then came back to Karnataka to share his knowledge and also uh, ensure that the next gen cricketers were guided by him. He played as a batter because Sadanand Vishnath was there in the ranks of the Karnataka side, and he was trying to make a comeback as well. But it didn't matter to Kirmani. As long as he could play a game of cricket, he was happy. And much later in life, Syed Kirmani served as the chairman of the National Selection Committee, and quite obviously, it was a just reward for somebody who's contributed a lot to Indian cricket. Syed Kirmani is always one who did whatever he needed to do. He kept himself in the background, he was quiet, but whenever there was a gathering, he was the life of a party. He'd always be up to something, he'd always be keen to try and make people laugh with his unique brand of humor. And other than that, he was one who kept his own counsel, and he went about life in a very self-contained manner. And Kirmani is one who will obviously go down as one of the legends of Indian cricket. Thank you, Kirmani. Thank you for all the service that you rendered to Indian cricket. Of course, I'm saying this on behalf of the fans and also on behalf of all your contemporaries and mates. And it was a pleasure watching you go about your routines and also try and glean a little bit from the way you were dedicated and the way you fought every inch of the way during your career. Well, and Kirmani, thanks a lot, and I consider it as a privilege to have played with you and to have known you. I wish you all the very best in all that you intend to do in the future. I hear a book is coming up, and hopefully it'll be something as interesting as one would expect whenever Kirmani is involved in any particular project. All the best, Kiri, and take care. On that note, I'm going to wind up this episode, and as I always say, until I catch up with you next time, be good and stay safe.